Welcome to Muddy's Whitetail Watch. This week I'm going to be talking about how to pattern deer or how to find them back after they've left their summer range and they've moved into their fall ranges. And I really touched on this whole transition in the first episode. Today I want to really dive more into this whole process of the dispersal and how do we find these bucks back again after they've moved into their fall ranges. And this is about the time of year when it makes sense to really start getting after the deer with the trail cameras. About the middle of September, right on through about the middle of October is sort of that window when I'm really most active with my trail cameras. So you've got to figure out, how do I get every single deer on my property in front of the camera? Say there's a fence crossing where the deer are jumping a fence. You could put a trail camera there, or there's a spot where the deer are all crossing a ditch or crossing a creek. So you got a nice little travel area, a nice little funnel there, maybe an open gate where the deer file through on a pretty consistent basis. Those are all good spots to put a camera. Even a scrape at this time of year. Mock scrapes would even be acceptable too. And if it's legal to use bait in front of your camera, that's by far the best way. And it's legal here in Iowa where I hunt. We can't hunt over the bait and we can't hunt trails leading to it, but we can pour it out in front of our trail cameras. Like I'm standing in a food plot here. It's right in the middle of what I believe to be the core area for one of the main bucks that I'm going after this year. It's a deer that we've nicknamed Big Junior. So I want to have cameras in as many places as I can within what I believe to be that deer's core area that I can access without leaving a lot of scent. When I really get serious about this, I'll drive the truck right along the edge of the food plot here. I'll jump out, I'll have waders on to keep all my scent inside, and I'll tend to my camera, get back in the truck and drive out again. And I'm gonna have as many spots as I can like that on the fringes where I don't have to go into any of the bedding areas or go into any of the places where I'm gonna leave a lot of scent behind, just trying to find these deer. So that makes it real easy for me. Anything that comes out on this food plot is eventually going to end up in front of my camera. No problem. In fact, anything within probably a 5 to 10 acre area within a few days is going to find that corn pile and is going to make just a regular daily trip, check it out, grab a few bites, see what's going on, and then move on. So that's the easiest way to get that inventory. I would say about every 20 acres of your hunting property, you could have a little bait station like that, and within 10 days, you should have a pretty good idea of everything that's around there. That way I don't have to have so many cameras and I can still cover a lot of area, because now I can move that camera someplace else and start the inventory in another spot. So that's the next step. Figure out where these bucks have moved to. A certain percentage of them are going to stay where they were during the summer. The majority are going to spread out and go someplace else. So next week I'm going to talk a little bit more about the whole patterning process. Finding them is only the first step. You've got to figure out what to do next after you find them. Which bucks do you hunt? Where do you hunt them? How aggressive do you get? There's a lot of things you can learn. And not surprisingly, the trail cameras are going to lead us in that direction. Well, that wraps up my discussion on whitetail behavior for this week. Now I want to touch on one of the Muddy products that we use here at Midwest Whitetail. Every time we go in a tree, we're using the Muddy camera arm. These are the best in the business. And in fact, there's none other that I would recommend, because we've tried just about everything out there and even some homemade ones. But they've got a camera arm for every size camera and every budget and every situation. So check those out. And here's why it's so important. There's a lot of people out there now that are filming their own hunts. And you spend so many hours preparing for the hunt, and you spend so many hours and maybe even weeks in the tree trying to get a shot or even a sighting of one of these bucks that you're hunting, and that deer finally does pass just out of bow range. You would love to be able to go back and watch that again later. You just have that 3 or 4 seconds burned into your memory, but it sure would be nice if you could pull it up on your computer and look at it again. So it's worth getting a camera arm. The camera is sitting on it, you can slide it out of the way, you can pull it back, you can push the play button, you can push it over, you can look down at the viewfinder, you can get it out of the way, you can even be watching it and then draw your bow and shoot. It does a lot better job of recording either deer passing your tree stand or your hunts than what you could possibly ever do by hand holding the camera. So that's my Muddy product tip of the week. I appreciate you joining me here. We'll be back again next week, and I'm going to talk more about this whole patterning process of how you take the information that you gained from your inventory and you go one step further with that to figure out exactly how to hunt those deer. So I'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Muddy's Whitetail Watch.